Your setbacks are part of God's mega plan for your life. This is the message that God has put on my heart for you. What you think are your misfortunes or your mistakes might all actually be playing out to fulfill God's divine purpose for your life. We spend a lot of time in our lives searching for our own individual purposes to get meaning in this life. We forget that God's plan for our lives is bigger, but He is also thinking about the impact that you are going to have on other people. It is not about you finding meaning, but it's about you fulfilling God's greater purpose. I studied in one of the best Christian universities in my country, and all I had thought was that I will graduate and land my dream job. But once I graduated, that never happened as I had expected. And where am I right now? I am a stay-at-home wife. And for some time, I spent my life feeling like I am a failure. I felt like I failed myself. I failed my family and all other people who had greater expectations in me. Until that time when God reminded me of Romans chapter 8, verse 28, that all things work together for the good of those who love Him and who are called according to His purpose. It ended up with a thought in my heart. You have to make a decision. You have a free will. This is the word that God is speaking to you. You might decide to keep on living your life feeling like a failure and regretting the place where you are at in life, or accept where you are at and yield to God's guidance and God's plan for your life. It is your decision to make. Where do you feel like you need to be? Feeling unworthy? Feeling like you are not where you need to be? Or believing that you are in the right place and you are fulfilling part of what God has planned for your life? I came to understand that in God's eyes, it was not all about me and what I needed or what I thought it was my purpose, but He was also thinking about my children. And that reminds me of the story of Moses. Moses being born as a slave in Egypt from a Hebrew woman. He is born during that time. Pharaoh had given a decree that every male Hebrew child be thrown into the river Nile so that they can die. They were growing in number and they were becoming a threat to Egyptians as a nation. And at that time, Moses' mother decides to hide Moses for 3 months. Later, she transfers him in a papyrus reed and puts him at the river Nile. So because he was in the basket, he didn't drown, he didn't die, he didn't sink. And as the daughter to Pharaoh comes to swim at river Nile, she notices the basket. She looks at the boy and she feels mercy. She feels sorry for him and she decides to adopt him. But because the sister to Moses was watching in the bushes, she comes and gives a suggestion. Can I call for you a Hebrew woman to help you take care of the child? Then she agrees to the plan. Pharaoh's daughter agrees to the plan. and he ends up being raised by his own mother, learning the Hebrew traditions. So he knew that he wasn't an Egyptian, even though later he was released to the palace to go be with Pharaoh's daughter. But he knew that he doesn't belong there. He now grows up in royalty, but he just doesn't feel like he belongs there. He ends up fighting with an Egyptian, and he kills him and buries him in the sand. Then another day, he meets fellow Hebrew men fighting. He tries to stop them. You are brothers, why are you fighting? And then they're like, are you also going to kill us the way you killed that Egyptian? He notices that someone had already seen him. He thought that it was a secret. The murder was a secret, but he notices that it wasn't. Because of fear, he runs away to Midian, and he's welcomed by Jethro, who later gives him his own daughter. He becomes his father-in-law. Moses builds a family in Midian. After a while, so many years after the Hebrews have suffered in slavery in the hands of Egyptians, God had not forgotten his divine plan. To the eyes of humans, the life of Moses would look like a tragedy, like he faces so much misfortunes. Being born a slave, getting a chance to taste royalty. Later on, he has to be running away for his life. But God had not forgotten about his mega plan for his life. Then you see that Moses is now being called to go and save God's people from slavery. At the time Moses is being called, he never even felt that he was good enough. He gave excuses. He was a stammerer. He doesn't know who God is. How am I going to tell these people who sent me? Who are you? And God tells him, I am who I am. You go tell them that. Tell them I am who I am, sent you. You look at this story and you realize that when you walk with God, sometimes your life might experience certain setbacks, certain misfortunes, things that when they are seen by a human eye, they seem like things are not right. Like you are walking with God, but you are not living the life you think you should be living. But according to God's mega plan, that is the life that is ideal to fit his purpose. So the story of Moses speaks to my heart, and also I hope it does speak to you. You who is living your life thinking about your missed chances or your missed opportunities, living and regretting about the mistakes that you made in the past or some of the decisions that you have made, you feel like they have put you in a place where you are just behind in life. You are not where you need to be. And yet you are walking with God. I want to encourage you to know that as long as you are walking with God, you are still within God's mega divine purpose for your life. If you're still watching this video up to now, I'm sending you lots of love. Thank you so much. And in case you're new here, my name is Charity Mugeni. In case you haven't subscribed, please just take a second and push that subscription button and be part of this family. You can like the video, share, as well as leave your comment right down below in the comment section. God bless you. See you in the next one. Bye bye.